The African continent is undeniably rich in football talent. Transactions between African grassroots football and European football clubs have been a regular occurrence for a few decades. From Zimbabwe's Bruce Grobler ending up at Liverpool during the 1980s to Ivory Coast's Didier Drogba ruling Stamford Bridge in the noughties and currently Victor Osimhen making waves in Italy, a lot of talent from Africa sailed the seas and reached the pinnacle of their careers in Europe. What you see is the superstars and big signings. What you don't see is the work, sometimes selfish, sometimes not so, that goes into at various levels. Rarely does talent make a direct jump from their local African clubs and academies to the elite clubs of Europe. It usually is a rigorous cycle driven by money and ruthlessness that sees promising young African talents undergo trials and get scouted by some of the finest football eyes sent to the continent by smaller European clubs.
Firstly, we look at a good technique. That's the most important. If some player doesn't have that level of football, then everything else, the physical part, doesn't matter. But then it's a combination of all those components together. Yeah, there's the speed of play, how quick they can get out of very tight situation, how they can accelerate, how they can take players on. Those kind of things are extremely important to us.
That's one of the biggest important things. Character, the player, how the players they are as a person. That's very important, and that's the beauty of our program. We try to bring them when they are young. We don't need to wait until they are 18, so their adaptation is easier when they go to Europe.
The football scouting scene in Lagos is thriving with dedicated scouts and enthusiastic young talent. The journey from the streets to the stadiums starts right here in the heart of Nigeria's football passion. Scouting young football talent is a meticulous craft, and scouts in Lagos know just how to spot the diamond in the rough. We started by asking them about the qualities and skills they seek in young players during matches or trials.
From this place, I can tell you we have a lot of Victor Osimhen that are here to be unearthed. Victor Osimhen, considering how he traveled to Europe, being in Wolfsburg and the rest, I believe there are still a lot of Osimhen-like players here. They just need to be given that opportunity to express themselves. And over time, if they are given that platform, they will showcase. So I'm not surprised if we say in 2-3 years' time, we see another striker from the Nigerian descent also bombarding the whole of Europe with goals.
In football, there's always going to be challenges. There's going to be ups and downs. When you get exposed to a high-pressure environment at a young age, sometimes that bright light is a little bit too difficult for you. So I think it's important that players are always supported in the right way and to expect challenges, but at the same time know that how they respond to those challenges is going to determine their future. So never to get too down on yourself and never to be too high feeling about where you're at.
Aspiring players in Lagos view these scouting programs as their gateway to brighter future.
First and foremost is self-discipline, focus, and have a good ambition. And the skills, the talent is all 100% have to be there. Sometimes the environment, sometimes pressure. Some players still need like some days to pick up, but as a people or scout or club, we don't really wait for those time. We want them to come and pick immediately. But environment matters at times. Environment and the philosophy and tactics of the team.
We dedicate ourselves to training. We are always committed. We try our best to do the needful.
Well, first of all, you get a very good sleep the night before. Then when you come to the field, you comport yourself. You act like a professional because you are trying to become one. And then you tell yourself, I can do this. You play well the way you've always played in training. You do the little and you keep it to the basic minimum. You play basically on the pitch.
For these young footballers, the journey to being scouted is filled with hard work and dedication. Scouting in Lagos isn't without its challenges.
I think the major challenge is the entry visas to these countries. Sometimes, despite the documentation be okay, the embassy sometimes they may turn on the visa application and for one reason or the other. And we see that actually affects the dream and the morale of this player because most times they might have prepared so well, hoping that the visa will be granted for those dreams to be actualized. But the major challenge we actually face in Nigeria is the visa granting to prospective players that ought to travel to Europe and other parts of the world to actualize their dream as footballers.
I think proper documentation. If there is proper documentation, I don't think there will be an issue. When there is proper documentation between the coach, the scouts, and the boys.
As Nigerians, we've always had this mentality that whites are. It always gives us this kind of a fear, and I think it is something that we all have to put down. They are just humans like us, as we know, and we just have to play with the courage that we've always played with, even when we're playing as amateurs.
Some of the challenges we face is this normal mindset about manipulation of documents from Nigeria, some Africans, anyway, not really Nigeria. It's actually still common within the South American players anyway, where players forge age and all that. So that age forging, we've tried as much as we can to deal with it here. So as you can see, some of the players here, they are of normal age, under 16 players, and I think with that we don't have much issue with visa processes and the rest.
Yet, for these youngsters, being part of these scouting programs has been life-changing. To achieve success as a young player in football, there are key qualities needed.
Basically, I look at the character, and also I look at their techniques and their speed, and also I look at the height, because me, I like tall players, and somehow some of the techniques being applied by European football now, they try to build team around tall players and the rest. So those are some of the qualities I look at. But attitude is very key, because you might be very good, but your attitude and your character, if they are not right, it will be very difficult for me to work with you.
I think it's an adaptation process. Often they don't get the time in Europe. It takes a little time to adapt. And then after a while, they already say, oh, this player is not good. The players are good, but they need some time to adapt. I think that's the biggest problem.
In Lagos, football isn't just a game. It is a way of life. From the streets to the stadium, the journey begins right here, where dreams are nurtured. Favor Itua, reporting for News Central.